today's lecture we are going to discuss about the numericals based on LBC. In last lecture we have seen the basic concepts of LBC, the definition of LBC. Now here we are going to solve some actual numerical based on LBC. Objective of today's lecture to study the different steps to solve the numerical based on LBC, and then we are going to solve few numericals on linear block code. So first we will discuss about the steps to solve LBC. So the first step of LBC is the representation of a LBC. LBC code or a linear block code is represented by n by k. Now what is this n and k? Where n is the total length of a code word and k is the length of the input, and n minus k represent the redundant bit or a check bit. It is generally represented by the term q. So you can also call it as q is equals to n minus k. Second is the matrix description. Now x is equal to mg is a basic description or the basic representation of a LBC code, where x is your code vector of size 1 by n, where n is the size of your or the total length of a code word. One must remember this thing. M is a message vector of size 1 by k, and G is a generator matrix of size k by n. Now these three terminology are very important for finding out the code word. So x is equals to mg is a generalized representation of solving LBC code, where m is a message, g is a generator matrix. Second one is the generator matrix description. Now the generator matrix is described as g is equals to I of k, that is the identity matrix, and the second part of the generator matrix is represented as p k by q, and the total size of a generator matrix is k by n. Now these terms are very important for defining the size. If we mismatch this size, whatever value we are getting is not a perfect generator matrix. So for generator matrix, first term is our identity matrix whose size is k by k, identity matrix. Then second one is a submatrix, p submatrix whose size is k by q, and the total size of a generator matrix is a k by n. Next one is a check vector. Now the check vector is represented as c is equals to m by p, or m into p. So what is this m? M is nothing but the message vector, and p is your p submatrix. Now the p submatrix is of size. The size of message is equals to 1 by 2 or 1 into 2, and the size of a p submatrix is equals to k into q. Now we have defined or we have discussed this p submatrix in the previous lectures only, and here it is performing the mod 2 addition. It is not doing addition normally. In this case we are performing mod 2 addition. Now once we are having this check vector, the next part is what? To find out the parity check matrix. Now this parity check matrix is used for detection of an error. Now this p is indication of a p submatrix, which is a part of a generator matrix, but this parity check matrix is indicated by the word H. H represents the parity check matrix, which is used for detection of an error. So generalized representation of a parity check matrix is H is equals to P. This P indicates the P transpose, and the second part is the identity matrix whose size is Q, and the total size of H matrix or the parity check matrix is Q by n, where P transpose is a transpose of a P submatrix. For detection, what is the procedure? For detection, what we do at the receiver end, now this Y is our received code word. We multiply the received code word with the H transpose. If my answer is equals to 0, what it indicates, whatever value we are getting is without an error. Now if this answer is not equals to 0, means what? It detects that there is an error. So this is a basic procedure for detection of an error. We multiply received code word with the H transpose. If the answer is 0, it indicates we are having no error. If the answer is not equals to 0, it indicates there is an error. So once the error is detected, our next task is for correction of an error. Now for correction of an error, we are using a syndrome, or the syndrome tables are used for the error detection. So what is the procedure for detection? So we know Y is equals to X. This is your received code word actually. So Y is the received code word is equals to X. X is the code word which we are transferring from the receiver, from the transmitter. Now this receiver transmitted code word is added with the E. So E indicates your error code vector. Now X XOR with E is generally our received code word. If you are receiving the code word with an error, if the code word is without the error, whatever value we have received is said to be correct, and no need to do for any error correction. But if there is an error, so we need to correct the error. So for correction, we assume that there is an error vector which gets added with the actual signal, and that combine will form our received code word. So what we do for detection? So first step for detection is if y into h transpose is equals to 0, it indicates there is a no error, and if it is not equals to 0, we come to know there is an error. So once we are in a stage we are having an error, we have to recover that error, and for that we go for next step, that is the correction of the error. Now for correction of an error, first step is to first find syndrome table which gives the relation between error vector and h transpose. So how we are going to find out that syndrome table? So S is equals to E into H transpose. So what is this E? E stands for error vector. So what we are doing in this case, we are considering the different conditions of a error vector, and from that error vector we multiply that error vectors with the H transpose, and it will give you the value of a syndrome table. So here I have explained to you what are the error vector and what are the syndrome tables. So first thing is we are considering the first condition. Now in first condition we are considering this error vector. So here the error vector is of size 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all values are 0. So if all values of a error vectors are 0, means whatever value we have received is equals to 0, or it is without an error. So this error vector is multiplied with the H transpose which we have solved in the previous step only, and we are taking their XORing, and from that we are getting the answers is equals to 0. This is a condition where all error vectors are 0 or the error is not there. So this 0 means we are having whatever answer we are having or whatever value we have received is correct. So this is the first step. Similarly, we consider the different positions of an error vector. Now in this particular table, if you observed, this is a condition, first condition, so where your error vector is present at the first position. Here we are solving the numerical based on the point that there is only a single bit error. So we are having error present at the first location. So this is the respective error vector. The first value is high and rest all values are 0. This condition where we are considering the error vector present at the second location. So this is your second location, it is having a higher value and rest all values are 0. Similarly, we repeat it for all position, first position, second position, third position, fourth position, fifth position and the sixth position. And for this all error vector values, we multiply those values with the H transpose, and it will give you the respective values of a syndrome vector. This is a comment. So this is a respective syndrome vector value present if your error is present at the first row. This is for second position, third position, fourth position, fifth position, the sixth position. Now what we come to know from this particular syndrome vector table, this value is similar to the first row of h of t which we have solved earlier, and similarly this one indicates the second row of h of t, and likewise. So you can directly write down syndrome vector as equals to H transpose. So this is what we come to know. Now how we are going to find out or how we are going to detect the error? So what we are doing in this case, first we find out S, that is the value of a syndrome table. S is equals to Y H transpose is equals to 0. Let it the condition. So all 0 means this condition. This condition means we are not having any error vector. Whatever value we have received is without an error. Second condition, if Y received code word multiplied by H transpose value, it will give you a particular value, and that value is not equals to 0. So what we do in that condition, this is said to be an error condition. So if error is there, then what we will do, we will note down the error vector value from the respective table as is taken it as an error vector. So let's take an example. If this sums comes out to be 101. This is for just an example. We are in previous slides we have solved one actual numerical. So if this multiplication values comes out to be 101, then what we will do, we will check the respective value in the syndrome vector, and for that we find out the respective position of an error vector. So for this, what is the respective position of an error vector? Now this is a respective error vector, and what we come to know, error is present at the second location. So for recovering, what we are doing for correction, we multiply or we take XORing of the received code word with the error vector value, this value what we obtain from the syndrome table, and it will give you the recovered signal, and this is your corrected output. So in this way we are going for correction of an error in case of a LBC code. Next, numericals on generating the LBC. So first we'll take a basic example where we are just generating one LBC code, and then we go for detection, and then we go for correction. So this example, the generator matrix of 6 by 3 block code is given below. Find all code vectors of this particular code. Now here a generator matrix is given to us. So this is a generator matrix 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1 0 1 1 1 0 1 and 1 1 0, and the size of generator matrix is also given as 6 by 3. So 6 by 3 is the size of a generator matrix. So what is the solution? The first step is we have to compare the given generator matrix with the standard equation to find out the P submatrix. So we compare this value with the generalized representation. So what is the generalized representation? G is equals to I of k colon P k by q. Now from this first three section or the first three rows of the generator matrix indicates the identity matrix. So I of k is equals to 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1, and the next three lines indicates your P submatrix. So this is the way we are extracting the P submatrix from the given generator matrix. So once the P submatrix is extracted, we go for second step, that is to obtain the check bits. Now here what is given? The size of k is given as it is a 6 by 3. So what we come to know, the size of n is 6, the size of k is 3, and n minus 3, that is a 6 minus 3, comes out to be q. So q is a number of check bits, or the q is a number of parity bits which we are adding in this LBC. So for this, first task is to find out the all message bits. Now as the size of a message bit, that is k is equals to 3, therefore we are having a 8 possible message vector as given below. So for 3, k is equals to 3, this all are my message vectors starting from 000 001 010 up to 111. So your first task is to build or to draw the message vector table. So once this part is over, we go for second step. So that is the finding out the equation for the check bits. So we know the check bits or the parity bits are given as C is equals to M into P submatrix. So this is a general relation of finding a check bits. Now what we are doing in this case from the previous, what we come to do, the size of a check bit is 3. So C is written as C1, C2, C3 is the first condition, and the message bits are given as M1, M2, M3. And then P submatrix, which we have extracted in the first step only. So this is my P submatrix, and then from the above matrix we just perform the multiplication. What we come to know, m1 into m0 is first thing, XORing. Here we are doing a mod 2 operation, therefore instead of writing addition we are writing a mod sum over here. So mod m2 into 1, mod m3 into 1, the same thing is written over here. Similarly the steps are written for finding the values of C2 and C3. So once we are having equations of C1, C2, C3, we have to find out once we are having the relation, we extract the equations or the relation between message bits and the check bits. So how we are going to extract this? Now in the first equation, if you pay attention, m1 into 0, so anything multiplies with the 0 comes out to be 0. So this term is eliminated. Then the second term is m2 into 1. So okay, m2 into 1, if the value is 1, we are getting an answer. If the value is 0, then fine. But here by default the value is going to be 0. So we are not considering this particular term. This is the second condition, m2 into 1. So we write down it as a m2. Third condition is m3 into 1. So we write it as a m3. And here this is a mod operation. So we have to write over here the mod. So similarly we are repeating for the m2. In m2 which two values are high? Just check on. The m1 is high, m2 is low, m3 is high. So it comes out to be m1 into m3. And for c3 it comes out to be c1 into m1 into m2. So once this part is with us, once the relations are with us, we find out, we go for the next step and the last step, that is the building of a syndrome, building of a complete code vector table. So this is a table which we have to prepare. So first part of this table is a message bits. So here the message bits are m1, m2, m3. So they are default 000 to 111. And for the check bits, we are using this relation. So what is the equation for C1? C1 is m2 into m3, m2 XOR m3, C1 is m1 XOR m2, C3 is m1 XOR m2. This is a relation given to us. Here we have just taken an example where my inputs are m1, m2, m3 are 000. So what's come out to be my check bits? So we just put on the values. So m2 is 0, m3 is 0, 0 XOR 0 is 0, again 0 XOR 0 is 0, and 0 XOR 0 is 0. So that comes out to be the values of a check bit. So if my message bits are 000, my check bits are also 000, and this complete code vector is written as first part your message bit and next part is your check bit. So in this way we are writing a complete code word and we are repeating these steps for rest all values of a message bits. So in this way we are getting these values of a check bits, and the complete combinations are called as a code vectors. So code vector is made up of a two part. First part is a message bits and the next part is your check bit. So once the code words are with us, the second step is to find out the weight of a code word. So what is the weight of a code word? We know the weight of a code word is nothing but the number of non-zero elements present in that particular code vector. So you have taken one example. Let for the second code vector, the second code vector is 0 0 1 1 1 0. So we are having how many ones? So this is your first one, second one and third one, or non-zero values. So its weight comes out to be 3. So in this way we find out the weight of a code vector. Next, numerical on the error detection and the error correction. So the example, the parity check matrix for a 7x4 block code is given below, that is H is equals to the value of a parity check matrix is given in this case. Find the generator matrix, find all code vectors for this code, and what is the minimum distance between the code vectors, and how many errors can be detected and how many errors can be corrected. Okay, so here they have given, instead of giving us a generator matrix, they have given as a parity check matrix. So what is the first sum? First step is to find out the find the generator matrix. So what are they given? Here they have given it as 7x4. So what is the n? N is equals to 7, k is equals to 4. We are putting that value for finding the number of check bits. So check bits comes out to be 3. Second step is to find out the p submatrix from the parity check matrix by comparing the equation. So in this case your H is equals to P transpose colon IK is a representation of a parity check matrix. So the second part indicates your identity matrix. So this is your identity matrix, and the first part indicates your parity transpose. P submatrix transpose, it is not a normal format, it's in the transpose format. So this is the value, and then for finding the actual value of a P, what we are doing, we are taking the transpose of a P transpose. So we are taking transpose of a P transpose. So what is your P? P comes out to be 111, 110, 101 and 011. So once the P value is with us, we find out or write the generator matrix. The generator matrix is given by IK colon PK by Q. The first section is your identity matrix of size K, and in this sum the size of K is 4. That is already given 7x4. Therefore this identity matrix is of size 4x4. So therefore we are writing it as an identity matrix, and the second section we have extracted from the first step only, that is a P submatrix. So in total it will form your generator matrix. So once the generator matrix is with us, we go for finding the number of check bits. So here K is equals to 4, Q is equals to 3 and N is equals to 0, N is equals to 7. So what we come to know, the block size of a message vector is 4, therefore 16 possible message vectors are there, which are shown in the next slide. So as it is starting, as it is a size of a 4 now, so the values of message bits are starting from 4 zeros, 0001 up to 4 times 1. So it is a size is 16 bits. We are having a 16 possible combinations of a message vector. Then to find out the P submatrix, we know C is equals to M into P submatrix. Now the size of check bits here given is a C, therefore it is C1, C2, C3, and the size of message bit is given as M1, 4, therefore it is M1, M2, M3, M4, which is multiplied by the P submatrix. We are repeating the same step. So what is your C1 comes out to be? C1 is equals to M1 into 1. XOR M2 into 1 XOR M3 into 1 XOR M4 into 0. Similarly, we find out the equations for C2 and C3, and once these equations are with us, or the relations are with us, we find out the equations or the final equations for C1, C2 and C3. So what is your C1? C1 is M1. Which values are high? M1 value is high, M2 value is high and M3 value is high. So it comes out to be M1 XOR M2 XOR M3. So in this way we find out the equations for C1, C2 and C3. So once the equations are with us, then we go for the actual building of a check bits. So here we have taken an example. If I have taken the message bit as M1, M2, M3, M4 as 1, 0, 1, 1. I put on those values in the equation of a C1, C2, C3. So in the first condition it is 1 XOR 0 XOR 1. 1 XOR 0 is 1 and 1 XOR 1 comes out to be 0. So in this way we find out the values of C1, C2 and C3 and then we go for building the actual sum. So we just find out the values of a message bit which we have already taken, and for each values of a message bit we find out the respective values of a check bits. So this is my check bits and this complete will called as a code vector. So this is my complete code vector. Now the size of a code vector in this case is of 7. So we are having a code vector of size 7 and out of that 7 your first 4 bit indicates the size of a message. So 4 messages are there and next 3 are the size of a check bits and the complete will form a code vector. And once this part is done we go for finding the code weight. So this is the weight of a code vector. We are repeating the same thing. We are just counting out the non-zero elements. So for the second example, here 1, 2, 3. So the code weight comes out to be 3. Similarly, in the last code, the values are 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So all values are high, means the code weight or the weight of particular code comes out to be 7. So once these tables are with us, we go for second step, that is for finding out the error correcting and detecting capability. So for that one thing is very important, that is a minimum distance between the code vector or the minimum weight. So for this particular we are not considering the minimum weight as a 0, okay, we have to consider the minimum weight as a non-zero value. So here what is a minimum non-zero value? So that is comes out to be 3. So the minimum size or the minimum distance between the code vector comes out to be 3. Then the next step or the last step, to find out the error detection and the correction capabilities. So for error detection capabilities the formula is equals to d minimum greater than equals to s plus 1, where s indicates your error detection capabilities, okay. So d minimum comes out to be 3 is greater than equals to s plus 1. Now we put the value and s is less than equals to 2. So what we conclude from this, thus the 2 errors will be detected. So for this particular code we can detect how many errors? We can detect only 2 errors. And for error correction the formulas comes out to be d minimum greater than equals to 2t plus 1. So d minimum is equals to 3 greater than equals to 2t plus 1. So your t is less than equals to 1. Thus the 1 error will be detected. So this is all about the error correction and the detection capabilities. And the last is numerical on the error correction and the detection. So here I have taken the example for a systematic LBC. The 3 parity check bits C4, C5, C6 are given. C4, C5, C6. Here instead of giving you any sort of a matrix, they have given as a relation, direct relation of a check bits and the message bits are given. That is M1. C4 is M1 XOR M2 XOR M3. C5 is equals to M1 XOR M2 and C6 is equals to relation is a M1 XOR M3. So what they have asked us, find the generator matrix, find all code vectors for this code, how many errors can be detected and how many errors can be corrected, prepare a suitable decoding table, decode the received code word 101100 and 000110. So this is a sum given to us. So the solution, the first part of the solution is always remains constant to find out the number of check bits, find out the number of message bits and the total side of a code word. So here C is given as a 3 because we are having C4, C5, C6 and the M is given as a 3. So N is equals to 3. Now addition of this two gives you 6. So the total size of the check bits comes out to be 3. To obtain a generator matrix, so first step is to obtain the generator matrix. So here C is equals to M into P submatrix, okay. So we just put on the values of a C. C is equals to C4, C5, C6 and your message bits are given as M1, M2, M3. So here they have directly given us the equation, the direct final formula, but we have to find out the value of a P submatrix. So for that we are using the generalized representation, that is C is equals to M into P submatrix. So P is a submatrix, therefore we have written it as we have just written P in terms of a matrices, that is the value of a rows and columns, and we have to extract each and every value, okay. So we just compare this two equation and what we come to know, C4 is equals to, we are performing a matrix operation, M1 into P11 XOR M2 into P21 XOR with M3 into P31. So we have written the same thing over here and repeating the same for C5 and C6, okay. Now we know what is the final equation of a C4, that was already given. C4 is equals to M1 XOR M2 XOR M3. Now we have to compare this given equation with the equation which we have derived, and how we are going to compare them now. So here which value is high? M1 is high. M1 is high means this P11 value is high, therefore your P1, this value comes out to be 1. If M2 value is high means P21 is also high, therefore we have written it as a 1. If M3 value is there means P13 is also high, so it comes out to be 1. So what is the first row? That is a 1 1 1. Similarly, we are repeating for the C5. C5 is equals to M1 XOR M2. So which two values are going to be high? Your M1 is high and M2 is high, means P21 is high and P22 is also high. So that is represented by 1 1, and M3 value is not there means P23 is 0. So in this way we find out the second row, and the same we are repeating for the third, and this comes out to be my complete P sub matrix. We are just putting the values. The first is 1 1 1, 1 1 0 and 1 0 1. So once the value of a P submatrix is with us, we put on that value in the generalized representation of a generator matrix, that is I of k colon Pk by Q. So this first part indicates the identity matrix and second one indicates the P submatrix, and in this way we generate the generator matrix. The next part is to obtain the code vector. So the relation is already given, that is a C4 is equals to M1 XOR M2 XOR M3, C5 is M1 XOR M2, C6 is M1 XOR M3. So the size of a message bits are 3, therefore we have written it as a 3, that is a 000 to 111. This first section indicates the message bit and this second section indicates the check bits. We have calculated this value by putting the respective values of a message bits, and the combiningly will form the complete code word. The first section is your message and second one is your check bits. So once these values are with us, we go for finding out the code word, weight of a code word. So the weight of a code word is nothing but the number of non-zero elements present in that particular code vector. So here 1 1 1 means the size the weight comes out to be 3, and similarly we repeat for rest all code vectors. So once this part is done, we go for finding the minimum distance between the code vector, that's the minimum size. So minimum size is in this case is also 3. Okay, so once this part is over, we go for the second section, that is to find out the error detection and the correction capabilities. So for error detection, the formula is d minimum greater than equals to s plus 1. We put d minimum is equals to 3 greater than equals to s plus 1. So x comes out to be 2. Thus 2 number of errors can be detected. And for correction, the formula is d minimum greater than equals to 2t plus 1. This t indicates the error correcting capability, and that correcting capability comes out to be 1. So one thing is very important, that the error correction capability is always less than the error detection capabilities. And then to prepare a decoding table. Now the decoding table is used for generating is used for detecting the error and again for correcting the error. So how we are going to prepare this decoding table? So we know H is equals to P transpose colon I of k. So P transpose, we have written the P transpose. So this is my H first thing. H is equals to first section is your P transpose and the second section is your I of k. Now what is going to be the H transpose? So H transpose is nothing but we are representing this term in format of a P transpose. So P transpose we have written above, and then we are writing the IQ. So we are just taking the transpose of a H, so which comes out to be here. So H transpose, this rows are, transpose is nothing but conversion of a rows to columns and columns to rows, that's it. So this comes out to be the H transpose. So once the H transpose are with us, it is very easy to calculate the error vector. So S is equals to E into H transpose, where E indicates the value of an error vector. So here the value of an error vector is 1 by 6 because the size of a code word is of a 6. So error vector size is also 1 by 6. Now here we take an example. Let us calculate the syndrome for second bit error in the error value. So E will be, here we are considering the error present at the second position or at the second bit. So the error vectors comes out to be 0 1 0 0 0. This one indicates that there is an error present at the second bit. Now hence we are going for finding out the syndrome. So S is equals to E, that is this value, and the H transpose. We take down their values, or we have performed the multiplications. Here explain the multiplication in detail actually. So here we are performing the matrix multiplication. To 0 into 1 is the first term, XOR with 1 into 1, XOR with 0 into 1, XOR with 1 into 0, XOR 0 0 XOR 0 0. So in this way we have written 0 into anything comes out to be 0, therefore rest all values are 0 except the value where your 1 is multiplied to be 1. Okay, and then we are performing their XORing. So 1 XOR 0 comes out to be 1. So in this way we repeat it for the rest all rows and the column. So this is the value of my syndrome. So this is the value of a syndrome if your error vector is present at the second location. So we repeat it for rest all values of a error vector, considering the error vector present as the first, second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth position by changing the bit position from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And one thing we have already come to know that the value of a syndrome table is always equals to the H transpose. Okay, so this is nothing but the second row of the H transpose. So no need to solve it for rest all value, you have to solve it for only one particular value for an example. So in this way we build a syndrome table. So the first is your error vector corresponding to the second bit. Error vector corresponding to the single bit error is the first part. Second one is the syndrome vector and the comments. So here if my error is what we have just solved, if my error is present at the second position, my syndrome vector comes out to be 1 1 0, and similarly we repeated it for the error vector present at the different locations. Okay, now how we are going to decode the received code word. So let my received code word is 101110. So this is the value which I have received. So y is equals to 10110. So what is the procedure for decoding or for decode the received code word? First part is we have to check whether the received code word is correct or not. So for that your S is equals to y H transpose. We multiply the received code word with the H transpose. So here we are just taking their multiplication. If my answer is non-zero, if the answer is not 0, means the received code word is with an error. Okay, if it is 0 then fine, no need to do any correction part, but here the answers comes out to be 110. So if 110 means what? So once the value comes out to be 110, what we have to do now, we have to check the value of a syndrome vector in the given table. So where is your 110? So here is my 110. Okay, so once the value of a syndrome vector is detected in the table, we have to find out the respective value of a corresponding single bit error. So this is the corresponding value of a single bit error or the error vector. So what we come to know, the error is present at the second bit, and then for recovery what we have to do, we just note down the value of a respective error vector, that is a 0 1 0 0 0. So your x is equals to y XOR e. Y is your received code word. We take XORing of the received code word with the error bit, and the recovered signal is whatever we are getting after solving this. One thing is very important, this is my received code word. If you focus on received code word and the recovered now, so you will find there is change in only the second bit. So see, this is the 1 1, we are having this 1 and this value is 0. 1 0 means there is an error present in the second bit only, and that's what we have find out from the syndrome vector table. Thank you for listening to my video.